Hey everybody, let's talk about self-discipline. With January coming up, it's tradition for people to set goals, right? But unless we have the self-discipline to follow through and do the hours of behind the scenes work that is required in order to become highly competent and successful in a certain area, then often we don't reach it. And self-discipline can actually give us a sense of achievement and accomplishment, which is also an emotional need. I know when I first became a makeup artist, people would look at me and say, "Oh, you're so successful." What they didn't see behind the scenes was all the hours I used to practice the art, and then they would see an editorial come out or a celebrity on the red carpet and think by some fluke or stroke of luck I had achieved that. But actually it was all that sort of iceberg, if you like, what went on beneath the surface that helped me create the success that I did. And the same as retraining as a psychotherapist, having been at school and left school at 16 with no qualifications, it was quite a lot of focused hours of attention and hard work that got me to qualification. So the next 5 steps are going to help you achieve more self-discipline in your life. Tip number 1, break up with your excuses. Okay, so when you set a new goal, you decide you're really going to do something, how many of you, and I have been guilty of this, suddenly turn around and say, well, I just don't feel like it today. I'm not in the zone. I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, something else has come up. I'll put that off till next week. We need to break up with our excuses, because if we wait to feel like it's the right time, that time may never actually come. And I used to do this a lot and just say, well, I don't feel the feeling that I need to feel in order to get what I need to get done. And actually, we have to honour and respect ourselves enough that if we set ourselves a deadline, that we're going to meet it. Step 2, be searingly honest with yourself. Now, while I am all for self-love, self-acceptance, self-care, being kind to ourselves, there are occasions when it comes to self-discipline that we need to have a strong word with ourselves, because it's all very well focusing on all the positive aspects of our character, but like being human also means that we can sometimes be lazy, we can be slovenly, we can just be distracted, we can just be in a space where we're not honouring and respecting ourselves enough to follow through on what we said we were going to do. And sometimes really looking at ourselves with that balanced but critical eye and having a word with ourselves can actually get us to follow through more efficiently in reaching that goal for the day. Step 3, set yourself a deadline. Now, if work sets us a deadline, like if I know I have a deadline, I have to write something by a certain date, I know I'm going to do it. But sometimes I need to set myself an internal deadline, and this can be really helpful. So say you're doing something for yourself and you set yourself an internal deadline of a certain date to get it done by, but tell some friends, get it out into the open and say, okay, by this time I'm going to have completed this task, and get them to hold you to it. Because when we know we have a deadline in place and people are holding us accountable for it, that can really help us follow through. Step 4, drop the trivia. How many times have you found yourself being distracted by Instagram or Facebook, or just scrolling through your phone, or just thinking, oh, I'll do that in a minute, and just trying to do lots of different tasks? The problem is this can really eat up the energy we have in our head to do things and complete tasks. And naturally the brain wants to complete the task, it wants to complete the cycle of something that we start. And really getting rid of any trivia of the day, like put a notification on Instagram so you don't get any updates, the same on Facebook. Clear your space of any distractions, and so that you can actually just complete one task and finish it. Number 5, make it non-negotiable. Now, we're in this culture, we can tend to go for the quick fix. We can tend to go for pleasure over discomfort. And this is really kind of a natural human instinct, but we can train ourselves to sit with discomfort, because that's really where the growth is. And if we make setting ourselves a task and completing it a non-negotiable point of our day or our week, then whatever else comes up, whether it's a short-term pleasure of hanging out with friends or watching a TV show or doing something that isn't about completing this task and moving ourselves forward towards completing this goal in general, then we need to say no to it and just focus on what we need to do in hand, and this will help us hit our targets. Anyway, I hope that was helpful, and please let me know what you think. It's always great to hear back from you and hear what you want more of, and I'll be back soon.